Hey, it's Fenrin. With season 2 nearing the end, I thought this was a really good time to share with you guys what the organizers have been thinking and talking about regarding FFCS season 2, and honestly just FFCS in general, and kind of what we've been planning on moving forward with the league. When making FFCS, we had two things in mind that we wanted out of the league. One, we wanted to make a competitive league that would be fun to play with and against your friends. And two, we wanted to make this league really fair and balanced. I would say overall, looking back at season 2, we mostly accomplished these two goals. Looking at the standings ending the season, most of the teams were very close, and honestly, I think that any team could beat any team. Of course, this is impossible to perfect. You can't really get a league that is perfectly balanced because League is just such a chaotic game. It's impossible to predict the players and how they're going to work in certain environments and certain roles. So to get a perfectly balanced league is just not possible. So we're kind of chasing a pipe dream here. But I think that with all things considered, the league was generally pretty balanced. However, we definitely had our fair share of problems. It certainly wasn't a perfect season, and we're going to try to address these problems and figure out what we can do moving forward to fix these problems. I think that a huge problem with the current format that we have is that teams in the bottom are feeling an excessive amount of mental drain. There's nothing that we can really do about some teams being weaker than other teams. It's sort of an inevitable evil that's going to happen no matter what. Because in league, there's a team that wins and teams that loses, and it's impossible to make the league perfectly balanced. But we do want to mitigate the feeling of helplessness that seems to arise in teams that are close to the bottom. I think a huge contributing factor to this problem is the sheer length of the regular season. If you're on a team that you think is worse than the average team in the league, and you realize this in week 2 or 3, and you look ahead and you see that you have to play out 7 or 8 more weeks of this, then none of those games are going to feel fun. You're going to feel a little bit trapped, and that's kind of a natural thought. So, for season 3, we're planning on reducing the length of the regular season by about half. By reducing the length by about half, we really feel as though teams won't feel as trapped in the league. If you think that your team is bad in weeks 2 or 3, then you look forward and you're like, oh, okay, I guess I only have to play out 2 or 3 more games, so I guess it's not that bad. We can kind of give it our all, and if we don't end up doing it, then we're good to go. And that thought isn't really possible if the format is 10 weeks of regular season. So we think that reducing the league size is going to have a positive feeling for teams who feel as though they're weaker. Another good thing about this is if you're unhappy with your team, the season is shorter and we will be able to create more seasons of FCS in a shorter amount of time. For example, I think now it's almost going to take 3 months for season 2 to be done. But with the regular season reduced by half, we can probably fit in 2 seasons in 3 months. So there's going to be more rotations of players and people will have more chances to play with their friends. Next, I think it's important to talk about how we actually create the teams. In case you didn't know, we basically take all the signups and we sit down and we create a lot of iterations of possible teams and we compare them and we figure out which possible combinations would probably be the most fair. There's some innate flaws in this. For example, we're not clairvoyant. We can't really predict exactly how all the combinations are going to work. We can only guess and try to hope that what we end up choosing is the most balanced that we can possibly get. In season 1, we actually had a field for people who signed up where they could write who they wanted to play with. So for season 1, when we made the teams, we kind of made the teams with friends in mind first and balance in second. What that meant is we first created our teams and tried to match everyone up with who they wanted to play with, and then try to balance the teams second. However, for those of you who played in season 1, I'm sure that you'll remember how unbalanced this actually ended up being. It was still okay balanced, but there were some clear power differences, and we kind of wanted to fix that for season 2. So for season 2, we ended up removing that field completely and kind of doing it backwards, such that we made it so that the teams were made with balance in mind first and then friends second. However, we're actually going to completely abandon that format going into the next season. Although the format that we have right now is probably the best way to make the league most balanced, it kind of sucks if you're assigned a team with people that you're not really comfortable with or a team that you don't really have much confidence in. especially in assigned a team where you don't have much confidence in. It's people that you're not comfortable with, and you're assigned a role that you don't like. So we wanted to transfer the power of team creation from us to the people who are actually going to be playing in the league. And I think that's actually really, really exciting. I'm super hyped to see how season 3 is going to end up with this change in format. I'm not going to say right now exactly how we're going to change the format because there's some stuff that we gotta iron out a little bit, but just know that we are completely abandoning the way that we make teams now, and season 3 will have a completely new system. It'll have a little bit of the best of both worlds, where it will still be balanced and we will still make some restrictions, but pretty much the entirety of the team creation process will be performed by players in the league. And I think that's super hype. Me and the other organizers are very confident that these changes will only be positive for the league and make sure that everyone involved will have a greater time. Because that's kind of the goal, right? We just want to make sure that everyone has fun. And honestly, FFCS is kind of it's a good community for a bunch of friend groups to come together. And we really just hope that everyone has a really fun time. And for season 3, we're trying to make sure that everyone has fun. Even if you're on the bottom, we kind of want to make sure that those people have fun too. We're not forgetting about you guys there, so don't worry. And with that, I think that that's probably it for me. I'm going to close up this video. I wish the teams luck in playoffs. I know those are going to be happening in the next 2 weeks, and I hope everyone has a great day.